Hey yogis, I'm going to talk today about particularly bandhas and how they correlate and are a key part of pranayama. And I want to begin the discussion on bandhas by offering just a little bit of context to the tradition of Hatha Yoga, as bandhas and mudras are a key part of the techniques that make up the spiritual technology of Hatha Yoga. And what I think is important to remember or important to review, some of you may be familiar with this, Hatha Yoga is, I've heard it called the art of the cultivation of light. And why it's important to kind of, think about what does it mean to be cultivating light. Well, Hatha Yoga comes underneath the umbrella of Tantra and the physiology, or I guess more accurately, the energetic anatomy and the sort of spiritual anatomy that was proposed and expounded through tantric texts more than 1,000 years ago. These are these texts and the teachings from Tantra are what gave rise to our understanding of the chakra system and the nadi system, which are the underlying energetics of our body and our subtle body and our mind. And all of those ideas and those teachings actually stem from what is considered Samkhya, which is the cosmological and metaphysical system emerging from the Vedas. This is pre-tantric in terms of tantric scripture. And Samkhya offers us a look at the sort of the map of consciousness. And Samkhya is seen as the underlying metaphysics and the metaphysical principles that are underneath the system of yoga. And so it's important to kind of look at the context. And the reason this is important is because when we look at the map of the territory, so to speak, right? Yoga as a path is a path about the return back to the source. And so the path of the return back to the source, speaking practically, is the withdrawal of our senses from their engagement with the world. And the reason that's important is because the light of consciousness that is coming into and through all of us is, they say it is leaking out through our senses. And so the reason it's leaking is because the senses, they have evolved to basically continue the biological life that they are connected to. And so let me put that into something that might make a little more sense. The senses are 5 senses: sight, touch, hearing, taste, smell. They have evolved attached to the biological body that we inhabit to help us to continue the life as the biological body we are. And so because the spirit is housed in our body, this light that is coming through us is extending out into the world through our senses and looking for information that will help us continue to be alive. And the spiritual path, in a nutshell, not just speaking about the path of yoga, but spirituality in general, is the withdrawal of our attention on the material world, specifically as it is seen through the senses and the projection of our senses out, and the withdrawal of that light back in so that we can then become aware of the source of the light. And so that is the path of yoga. And I give the context behind Samkhya and the tantric physiology with the chakras and the nadis, because this is exactly what we're doing with the methodology of Hatha Yoga. And specifically when we're talking about bandhas, bandhas are a key part of the practice of pranayama and the control of the life force, right? This is the life force that's usually going out and dissipating and leaking into the world. And so through Hatha Yoga practices, we learn to withdraw the light back in and create the vessel, which is the physical body, create the vessel for that light to be restrained. And as the light is restrained and held within, and our attention is no longer extended outward in the projection of the illusion of the world, we become aware of what is true, what is eternal. And that is the path of yoga, and that is why it is important. Understanding all of this is why it's important, because then we can engage in the practices and the techniques with this knowledge. So, a little bit of a history and a background. Now I'm going to talk to you about bandhas, and then this next video will cover specifically the 3 bandhas: Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and Jalandhara Bandha. So stay tuned for that.